So Pacific Rim Wave 2 is getting ready to drop, is getting ready to arrive and begin to make that distribution. They say as of this vlog, I think like a month and a half, maybe 2 months, maybe really what we're looking at is end of September, but it's on its way. And I'm really, really excited about Wave 2. And I understand in terms of the rollout of the game, there were challenges based on the state of the world, based on the usual kickstarting stuff, based on distribution, where I feel like the game got off to a slow start. I understand Wave 1 was to get the core out there, get some of the iconic Jaegers out there. So this way we get people playing, we get it interested, you get them in, and just when you thought you were out, you're back in. Then they hit you with Wave 2, and you really dive into the game. But that delay, in my opinion, really polarized things. It really kind of stalled Pacific Rim. And I think now with Wave 2, being that we've got 4 and 4, 8 in total, 4 Kaiju, 4 Jaegers, that's got some bite. And what I'm interested in, the two things that I saw problematic with just Wave 1, and again, things were out of that control, but it's going to self-correct. The first was the lack of diversity in the early miniatures. The Kaiju side was, and I've extensively played the game. I continue to play it. I love it. I'm working on a big city table now. I've got a lot of hobby stuff in the works, getting ready for Wave 2. But playing those games, I noticed the Kaiju were more powerful, significantly more powerful, combined with being a little bit more straightforward with how you play them. So what that meant was you really had to be on point with the Jaeger side, and you really couldn't make any mistakes. I would have liked to have seen a little more balance. Now, I think that would have corrected very fast with Wave 2. The other challenge, and this is just a personal preference, and I'm glad Wave 2 is definitely going to correct this, I like big games. I like the painting, I like the building, I like the tactics, I like collecting, but for me, wargaming, and Pacific Rim is a war game, I like getting together with my friends, rolling some dice, blowing some stuff up, having a good time. So if I can have 2 or 3 players on each side, if I can have 4 or 5 players on each side, the more players I can bring in, the more collaboration, the more just fun. Being limited, physically limited with Wave 1, I could only bring in so many players. Well, now Wave 2, I've got 4 and 4 more. And generally, if I play multiple games, on a side note, like Pacific Rim, where you are controlling a very, very powerful piece on the table, I like, ideally, players to control 2 of each. So this way, if you make a mistake or you get not one-shotted, but if you go down early or if tactically someone has to gang up on you for some reason and one of your pieces get knocked out, you're not out of the game where now it's like, well, what am I going to do? I'll see you in like an hour and a half when we reset. So I like to have players control more than one piece, or if it's an Armada type game, a couple of ships or something like that, just not 1 and 1. Couldn't do that with Wave 1. And also, Wave 2 is going to be bringing in some iconic pieces from the Pacific Rim narrative. So I think it's going to really, really rejuvenate and push the game a little bit more mainstream, and I think that's going to be great, especially as things open up. Personally, I've got the Wave 2 pre-ordered, ready to go, and just now I'm working on a gaming table. I'm working on some terrain effects. I'm working on some damage effects, so this way when it drops, look, I don't have to paint the miniatures. They look awesome, epic scale. I just pop them out, ready to go. That's where I'm positioning myself.